This time I'm looking at my Sony 5.1 surround sound subwoofer. Recently it just started not turning on. The lights come on, but you can't hear any sound output. So I think we're going to have to investigate this one further. So I've got it on the bench, pretty large, struggling to fit it into the shot, but it's the best we can do. We'll plug it in and then I can show you what happens when you turn it on. So here's the front screen. It should light up and then display the volume and what input it's connected to. But if I press the power button on the top here, it clicks, but nothing happens. It does suggest that there is a relay working because we can hear it clicking on and off, but then the power isn't getting any further than the relay, so we'll have to have a look and see why that is. Let's take it apart. There's a lot of screws on the bottom here. If we turn it up, there's a load of screws in all these holes as well. So I think what we'll do, get all those taken out and then we can have a look inside. So many screws for some reason.
In the dark room, it's sitting there, silent, cold, refusing to blast. Master of his tools, he won't back down. He'll bring
One missing in there.
his charge back around. Oh, fix it, make it sing again. Feel the beat from deep within. Oh, fix it, let the music play. Bring the sound back night or day. With circuit boards and widespread. Underneath the neon shed, eyes focused and steady and sure. He knows the way to find the cure.
So there we go. I just want to check this big capacitor here, see if there's any voltage in it before we start poking around. I can't actually fit the probes in that little gap, so I'm just going to leave this for a while to discharge just in case there is any voltage left. Better to be safe. Next thing I want to do is just give this a bit of a clean. It's pretty filthy. If you can bring that a bit closer. Loads of dust and things, which is making it difficult to have a look at. So let's spend a bit of time getting it looking a bit better. Nice. Now it's all cleaned up, we can have a look around the board, see if there's anything obvious to us. We start over sort of this side. This is the power in on these pins here, and these connect to the front panel. There's a relay here, which I think is what we had clicking when you press the power button. So I think everything up to sort of this point is probably working. Oh, there's a fuse down here, we can check that. In fact, we just flip the board over. I don't know if we can see. Shielding here is covering the sort of input higher voltage side. And then I think that also denotes, you see this checked pattern on the board. I think that's telling me that too. There's another transformer over here. And then we cross over into the lower voltage side. There's lots of chips and things and we can see if we can get some data sheets for all these and whatever they do. Also on the back, there's another one there. And a few other small ones dotted around so we can find out what they are. I think the first thing I want to check now is plug it in and then measure the power. If there's anything over this end, because if it's stopped, we might be getting to the relay and then not getting any further. So we can figure that out and then we can go forward from there. So we've got everything plugged back in again. Got the power coming in here. And then the front panel connected again so we can push the power button. We don't need these other things, that's just speakers. And then that's the audio inputs from the back of the case. So let's turn it on and check that it still works as it did before. Yep, I hear the relay click. Green light came on here, if you can see that there. Okay, just turn it off. Got the multimeter set to diode. So we'll check this fuse first of all. Yep, fine. It looks pretty good condition anyway. One thing that is worth considering is on the board, the power button is connected here, and that is actually doing something. So it must be working in this area somewhat, because the signal is being sent possibly through one of the chips or to a transistor, which is then triggering the relay. What that means at this point, I don't know. Right, I'm going to turn it off. Off. Yep. I'm going to turn it over and try and measure some of the voltages across the capacitors on the secondary side. You can see these points here. That's the side of the transformer, and then this is those capacitors I was just pointing at. So if we measure those, we'll see if we get anything. Okay, power on. Let's see what there is. .8 volts. .7 volts. Okay, that seems good. About here, another one. 14.8 volts. Now we know there is some voltage getting through here and ending up here. I think I'm just going to go through, test a lot of these components. Obviously this is where the ribbon cable connects. The power button is doing something, but we're not getting anything on the display. So I think this is the best place to start. First of all though, I need to remove this shield here. Where is it? There. Because it's covering up all the points I need to test. So let's get rid of that. Firstly, I had a bit of leaded solder just to make this a bit easier. A bit of flux on these points, we'll just tidy them up. Right then, let's do some testing. So it's been a couple of weeks since I was working on the amplifier. Something came up which meant I had to stop for a little while, but now we're back and we'll see if we can get this thing going again. And from what I remember when I stopped last time, we gave it a clean. We checked that there was an output on this side, I think it was 15 volts or something like that. So I think now I'm going to turn it on again. We'll see if that voltage is reaching these ICs. Then we'll get an idea, a better idea of what's going on at least. It's plugged in again. Let's push the power button and then we can get testing. Oh, what's going on there? Don't know if you can see. Let me make a bit of a shadow. It's flashing. Was it doing that last time? I don't remember seeing that. Oh, now it's solid again. Was that happening last time? Oh, I can't remember, to be honest. I'll have to check the video. Let's have a look on the screen. I could carefully lift it up. What? It's on. Don't know if you can see. I might have to lift it up a little bit. Just about to see. 13, that's the volume. How weird. I haven't really done anything yet. This has been broken for at least 3 months, and I tested it so many times, and it never came on if you left it. So I don't know what's going on. That flashing light, and now it has actually come on, it's saying capacitor to me. Could be a faulty capacitor, which isn't working quite right, causing that flashing, and then eventually it sorts itself out, and then it allows it to turn on. I think we should go over all the capacitors, check their values, and see if we can find one that's not quite right. I mean, unfortunately, if I zoom in, there are quite a lot of capacitors. But I think I'll start around this side, because this is where the ribbon cable comes in from the controls. So it seems the most sensible place to start. Better get to it then. Now it's all unplugged. I'm just going to leave it for a little while because of that large 400 volt capacitor here. I can't get in the back, if you remember from before, to discharge it, so I'm just going to leave it. So these three in a line here, that one too, and that one, they're all the same. Quite hard to see. It's 22 microfarads, 25 volts. So if we check those first, let's see what we read. As we're going to have a hard time getting any kind of reliable reading, testing all these electrolytic capacitors in circuit, I'm going to heat the soldering iron up and just lift one leg of each one, and then we can test them as the equivalent of being out of circuit and see if they're all right. One thing I just noticed, if we look on the board here, it's marked on the back with a little symbol. We've got a straight line and a curved line of a capacitor, and the curved side is the negative, so I can just look on the board rather than having to look at each individual capacitor. Okay, let's get lifting. It's a little bit of flux on each one just to make it a bit easier. So that's all those capacitors lifted. Now we'll test them all. Got the multimeter set to capacitance. So for these blue ones, we're expecting 22 microfarads. 20, close enough. 22. 22, pretty much. 22. 21. This one up here is 220 microfarads. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I think I'll take it out and check it out of circuit. 220, well, 0.226 MF. What does MF stand for again? So if I remember correctly, it's millifarad MF. So 226 millifarad would be the same as 226 microfarad. So this is actually fine. Bit of a faff. Put it back in quickly. Right, next, this one up here. It's not actually written on there. Okay, we'll leave that one for now. Right, next we'll move over here. And this is 220 microfarad, by the way. 200, a little bit off. Not too bad though. This next one. 1. Yep, fine. 47, that one. 64, no, that's a bit off. Okay, then, so there are some funny ones here. What I'm going to do, considering there are some that have clearly gone a bit beyond range, I'm going to work my way across the board, refit any that are okay, and then replace any that are not. Might take me a little while. I've just finished going over this section here. We've replaced one so far. It was a 220 microfarad that was reading well under. There's this one as well, 2200. That's reading about 1900, which is sort of okay. I might replace it if I can find one. But the interesting thing, I started looking at these ones here. These are big 25 volt 2200 microfarad, and I separated the glue here so I could remove them to test. But if we turn it over and have a look under the microscope, so you can see I put some flux on here. It's this one here and this one here. But look what happens if I move it. You can see, let's see if we can focus it, but you can see the legs moving in and out on that one, and that one seems okay. So we've got some dry joints there, which could easily be the issue. I'm going to take them out anyway so I can test them to make sure they're working okay. If they are okay, probably put them back in, put the other one I took out back in, and then give it a test, because that could well be the issue. All right, let's test them. We're looking for 2200 microfarads. Yep, that one looks fine. Yep, that one looks good too. It's not quite as good, but I still think that's close enough. This is the one I removed earlier. This is 2200 16 volts, so we'll test that one as well. Yeah, that one is a bit low. I don't actually have any of these 2200 16 volt capacitors here. So I think I'm going to pop this back in and then put these back in too. Then we can see if it works. If it does work, then I can order some of these and I'll replace it in the future. Just noticed something else there. There's also movement on this coil here. I don't know if you can see it there. Let's bring it over. You see there, that one's moving. So I might just touch up all the points in this area just to make sure nothing else is dry. That's those put back in. I might give it a little clean up and then we'll test it out. Everything's plugged back in. We'll give it a test now and see if it's made any difference. So we'll push the power button. Solid green light straight away. Is there anything on the screen? Yes, there is. I don't know if you can see that. There's a faint 13 there. And it says optical. Right. So it's powering on. We still don't know if there's any sound output though. So I'm going to put it back together, plug something in, and then we'll see if any sound comes out. Now it's all back together. I think we need to give it a test, see if there's actually any sound. I've got one of the speakers from downstairs. This is the front left speaker. I'm going to plug that in. I've also got an old phone that's got an audio jack on it. So we can plug it into the back, choose that input and see if anything comes out. Right then, let's turn it on. I don't know if you can see that. It says optical 0 volume, so let's change it to coax audio. There we go, audio in. Let's give it a little bit of volume. It's 8. We press play. Oh, I can hear something. Yes, definitely working. I don't know if you can hear the bass, but it sounds really good. Awesome. Wow. I think we can say that that one is a fix. Thanks for watching. Sorry it took a couple of weeks to get this one done, but we got there in the end. Hopefully I'll have something every week from now on, but we'll see how it goes. But until next time, catch you later.